Hi, my name is Stephanie Anderson and I am a foodie for Jesus. In my last video blog, The Ultimate Balancing Act, I shared something about Martin Luther and his how he prioritizes prayer and the amount of time he spends in it. And I want to clarify that because I was really speaking off the cuff and I hadn't planned to mention Martin Luther. It came to mind. I thought it was relevant. And so I want to come back today and I want to share what the actual quote is, just so that there isn't any confusion. Before I do that, I want to mention a couple things. I want to mention, kind of some things that are foundational to me as part of Foodie for Jesus and why I want to go back and just clarify the Martin Luther thing. And I want to also share a little bit about how I prepare for these video blogs, because a couple of people have asked me in the last week, and I think it's relevant related to me clarifying the Martin Luther stuff. So, how I prepare. Usually, most of the preparation is spent through thought and prayer and reading and studying and just things that come to mind for me naturally. Just going about life. Sometimes it's a mistake that I made. Last week I shared an embarrassing moment that I had. So I have a list that I just keep adding to as I have new ideas. And maybe I'll end up covering this whole list. Oftentimes, each week I get taken in a different direction based on just what happens in life. So I just kind of go where I feel when I'm ready to record. I just go with what feels like the right thing to talk about. And so today I wanted to clarify the Martin Luther thing. So, but yeah, I don't have a script. I'll make little notes or an outline at most of things that I want to cover. If there's points that I want to make sure that I get accurate, like Bible verses, I'll read them directly from the Bible to make sure that they're accurate, but I don't script out. So that's why this Martin Luther comment came up, because it was totally off the cuff. It was something that came to mind. And I also want to clarify this Martin Luther quote because it is very important to me that what I share is accurate. And anytime that I ever have a question about the accuracy, whether it's how I'm understanding a verse of the Bible, I feel so blessed and grateful for my husband. Anytime I've had a question, I'll ask him. Typically he has an answer, an insight to share with me. And if he has any question at all, we both kind of go on this fun learning adventure together to figure it out, because I do want to make sure what I share is accurate. I also, my husband will watch these videos on his own a lot of times, but it's not uncommon for me to say, hey, honey, I need you to just watch this one and make sure what I say about XYZ or whatever, that it's accurate. So I'll have him watch this one because I do want him to know, I tell him I love him and appreciate him, but I want him to know that, so I'll probably ask him to watch this one just so that it just is hopefully kind of a nice pat on the back of how much I love him, how much I appreciate him. So it is important to me that the information is accurate, but when it's something that's coming from me, I want it to be authentic, right? I'm not an expert in the Bible. I'm not an expert in any of these other things, which is why I want to make sure that when I'm sharing them, they're accurate. But I want what's coming from me to be authentic. It's not polished. It's not sugar-coated. I don't like that reference to sugar, but I know I've said sugar-coated a few times in the course of this video blog. But I want it to be true. It's not fake news. It's not fabricated. It's what I'm living, which is why sometimes I'll have planned some topic and then, I'll have some sort of experience or a mess up, or, I had my foodie face plant, which was a huge stumbling block I had related to food, and I needed to share that. So being accurate, being authentic, both very, very important to me. So let's get back to Martin Luther. What did he say? So from what I've found, back up in case you didn't see the last video blog. It was about priorities and having God at the center. And I mentioned how Martin Luther when he's really busy, he even wants to spend more time with the Lord. And so I got the gist of it, but here's the actual quote. It is, and I'm toggling between screens here. This is the actual quote. I have so much to do that I shall spend the first 3 hours in prayer. Again, that's, I have so much to do that I shall spend the first 3 hours in prayer. Like, that is awesome, because I'll tell you, when I have a really crazy busy day ahead of me, this quote challenges me to be like, okay, don't skimp on the prayer time. If anything, it needs to be amped up. So this, I don't believe that quote from Martin Luther King, from what I've seen, it's not like officially documented anywhere. I don't know if it's something that's just kind of been passed down, and I'm assuming the original time it was spoken was in German. But it is kind of a famous quote of his. So I'm challenging myself, and I want to challenge you as well. When you're being overtaken by your to-do list or whatever it is that life's throwing at you, is keep God at the core and have that focused prayer time. As I was digging as well, it wasn't just about the amount of time that Martin Luther it wasn't just about the 3 hours, but he always put a lot of emphasis on having the right focus as well. And when you're doing that one thing, you're doing that one thing, right? And that's what you're focused on. And I know for me personally, a lot of times my mind is off doing other things. And I'm guilty of that when I'm oftentimes in my Bible study. I may be, as I'm spending time in the Word, I may be distracted by what am I going to make for dinner, or something that I have to do for work, or you name it. There's something else that's on my mind, but really just needing to refocus. So I want to challenge you again around the prioritization of your time with the Lord. And if you're starting at your base of 0 and that's where you are right now, how about 5 minutes, right? And just being focused and committed, and give yourself permission, as I'm giving myself permission, to take more time. Because it is not just important, it is the most important time that we stay connected with our Heavenly Father. So thank you for joining, and I look forward to next time. Thank you.